elections, and maybe if everything doesn't go as planned, we might go a little after. But we're going to be running this down. This is a one-on-one with members of the political parties, and the theme is Talk to Me, okay? The series is Talk to Me tonight. It is continuing the progress, and we are having with us one of the guests from the coalition. We'll talk a little more about that. But as we lead up to the elections, these parties want to let you know why you should vote for them. They want a candid discussion. And so this Talk to Me series is not antagonistic, it's not controversial, it's not confrontational. It's a conversation that we're going to be having with these members of the different political parties. It's a half an hour, give or take, a half an hour program. And this segment for the coalition is going to be at 8 p.m. every night, except tomorrow. Tomorrow is at 6 to 6:30. But every night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and for the rest of the week, going on to the elections, the segment for the APNU AFC coalition will be at 8, and that will go from 8 to 8:30 at least. That's the time right now. The other parties are still coming on board with their time, and when they come on board, we will let you know. So Talk to Me. It's a new series. We will discuss among management if we want to make it a call-in program so that you can ask questions, or indeed if you want to send in your questions, you can get me on Facebook at Wendell Jeffrey. On Facebook, you could send your questions. For instance, tomorrow night, God's willing, tomorrow evening, we're going to have the prime ministerial candidate and first vice president, the Honorable Ken Madranjatan. He's going to be sitting with us to discuss tomorrow evening. And so if you have some questions, just hook me up on Facebook, send the questions, and we'll see how we can work them in. Tonight, I'm very honored. I'll be very honored to have with us Mr. Daniel Seram, a former Army captain. I want to welcome you, Doc. Sharp looking, handsome gentleman. How are you doing?
Doing well tonight.
You excited?
Very excited. Always excited around this time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell the audience a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Daniel Seram. I'm former captain of the Guyana Defense Force. I'm a field engineer. I would have done 12 years of service with the GDF. I commenced my service in 2008, and I've had a very great career thus far.
Okay, so how you got in? You're a captain, and you're young, so you came in through the cadet corps?
Yes, I would have done the officer cadet training at To Me Ep1. We spent just over a year up there, after which I would have progressed in the force, attaining higher ranks through various criteria, academic criteria, as well as completion of courses and what's not. And it was just I would tell any person coming up in life, a military career is not a bad career at all to chase. Right?
Been there, done that for a while.
Yes, I have, over a decade, quite a while.
Okay, all right. And so, 12 years, when was your last date?
My last date of service would have been the 31st of December 2019.
2019, and here you are on the border, just in 2020, early in 2020, and you are with a political party. What happened? How the jump from being apolitical to deep in, you plunge in by your head? What happened?
Well, from a very early age, right, I had this, I have this eagerness towards, not necessarily politics, but towards national development in whole. I was growing in a family, we were always patriots. We always loved to do anything to make better our country. And with that being said, and the upbringing that I was given, everything we were pushed towards was about nation building through my mom and my dad. From the institution of family, you always know to take care of everyone, and I'm the eldest of my family, and trust me, that's a responsibility only the eldest would know. Okay. After taking on a career in the military, it was easy for me to transition to politics because I was taking care of my countrymen as their commander in my portfolio, and now I'm wanting to go and extend my reach towards all of Guyana now.
Wow, you are unique. Your religious affiliation is what?
I'm a Hindu.
So you're a Hindu.
Yes.
You are Indo-Guyanese,
Yes, sir.
and here you are representing the coalition. How does that make you feel?
It makes me great to be alive because, as I told my colleagues and my friends, in this day and age, society shouldn't tell us where we should lean or shouldn't tell us who we should be. Right? We have our own brains. We can think for ourselves. We can feel for ourselves. We can see exactly what we want. We can see what our countrymen are going through. And we can make those decisions to make things better for each other. As I tell people every day, a vote for the coalition is a vote for the entire Guyanese, not just for one Guyanese and two Guyanese, for all Guyanese.
Okay. All right. You are very pivotal being on the program tonight because you know that tomorrow is E-Day for the armed forces, right? The
Yes,
military.
tomorrow my brothers and sisters in arms will be casting their ballots. This is nothing strange to the military and paramilitary forces as they prepare for the security period leading up to an election. So they vote before us so that they can ensure that the country is always protected. Needless to say, whatever is going on in the country at the time.
I'll give you another opportunity to make a pitch, but let me do that now. Why should the armed forces vote for the coalition, given the options that they have?
The armed forces, well, I would have served under both governments within the army, right? And in my assessment, and I think that most servicemen would share my assessment, is that hands down I would choose the coalition government any day. First of all, they increase salaries for all soldiers. Now, it's not just promising a soldier or policeman or fireman or prison officer just a 1-month bonus at the end of the year. This government has raised the salary for every single month, and you calculate that at the end of the year is more, and the next year we're looking for more, and the next year we're looking for more. So we're not looking for this 1-month thing, we're looking for progression. You cannot stop the progress right now. Secondly, right, in the force, we have been granted with numerous opportunities for training, both academic and specialist training. This would have led to easier promotions. This would have led to criteria which were set forth in our military doctrine to be easier accomplished by ranks.
And you're saying, now given a 12-year span, the coalition was in for the last 5, so you spent 7 and 5.
Yeah.
And you're saying that a lot of these things that you are highlighting only came about over the last 5 years?
So this is the thing. Military doctrine was always there. Our career paths were always there. But no one ever took the opportunity to look at it and say, well, if there's a career path, then let's start educating the ranks to suit that career path. So it was always there, but it was underutilized under the last government. With this government, they placed a specific emphasis on taking care of the human resources as well as the assets of the force. So if you have a brilliant officer and you have the assets, you have a great force. But if you don't train the ranks and you just treat them as soldiers and you have the assets, well, you know what's going to happen there? A lot of maintenance issues.
So your argument is that the coalition should be given another chance to expand in what they are doing?
As I'm seeing right now, and I'm quoting the president on this one, it's a decade of decadence. It's just not another term we're looking for. We're looking to transform the entire Guyana through the coalition government. And yes, I endorse them fully.
Okay. You have at the highest levels of the two leading parties, you have a retired brigadier who is president, you have a retired brigadier who is prime ministerial candidate. And those are two persons presenting themselves. Both of them you would have served in the military. What is your take on their leadership style, and why should one be chosen above the other?
Well, you see, I would not compare any military commander to another military commander. Everybody has their own way of command, and that is what makes every individual commander unique. What I will say is that side has a military commander, kudos to them. But our side, I'm saying, right, and I might be going back on my words here a bit, has the better party, right, with more military commanders backing them. So instead of just having one general, we have a lot of generals backing us.
All right, I like that twist. Talk a little about, because it's not just the army that will be voting tomorrow, it's the armed forces.
Yes.
Talk a little about how you envision security in Guyana, given the options that are now available.
Well, security in Guyana has risen. I know that we still have a lot of petty crimes that are going on. And these are things that can't be fixed overnight, right? But with the advancement of the government making certain access to these security services, general internal security in the country will improve. We have new fleets coming in. We have new centers to do DNA testing now. We have the citizen security program in which they're putting up the surveillance systems. And this will move not only will it be in Georgetown, this is going to do in every major city, every major town in Guyana. So the security advancement is there. Not only has the president committed to just the assets that we're giving to the force, he has also realized, and I can quote him, I can say that he passed on to the annual officers conference for the police force that they must increase their strength. Every region needs to increase their strength. So we're finding through the security sector, we're also finding meaningful employment for people. So we're creating jobs, we're giving people a strong foundation in which to build on. So we're bringing out this moral back into people, a sense of nationhood, bringing out this patriotism back. And with that being said, then, you know, all sorts of things we can take care of. We will see the crime just dip down immediately.
All right. Now, you know, before a vote, persons normally like to get an idea of where they stand based on the discussions that are obtaining. What's your take, given the fact that the armed forces will vote tomorrow? You are on the ground, you were there in the army, and I know you probably have some police friends and prison officers and so on. What's your feel as to where the likelihood of the majority of the votes will go for the armed forces?
I can safely say that the majority of the votes will go to the coalition. It will be very resounding. Many members of the force have embraced this government. Many members of the force understand development and how it will impact their future. And that is why they will vote for this government.
Do you, aside from your political preference, do you know what the other political parties are offering to the forces should they be elected?
I have heard some things being spewed. I don't take much note of them.
Some things being spewed?
Just things about bonuses and things about a lot of false hope promises. You understand? And I don't worry about it because to me those promises are just window dressing.
So there's a promise to give, I think, 30% increase and also to give back the 1 month bonus and so on. Did that play in your consideration?
No, well, you see, that promise that was made, why wasn't it done in 23 years?
All right, you want to expound on that? Because you saw it on the move.
So we would have been in the army, right, as public servants, and no one gave us an increase. They just gave us this bonus every time at Christmas. Now you've seen a government that has raised the salary of soldiers, raised the salary of public servants, and now you're going to put that in your manifesto also. Come on, man.
You know, I'm tickled pink because of you, if only because of the level of enthusiasm you bring and how quick you were able to pivot from apolitical as an army officer to being so enthusiastic about a political party. And it's really admirable. I'm just saying that is, and your understanding and your articulation as to the comparative views.
As military officers, we're very cognizant of our environment. We're always observing. We don't have to say much, but we understand clearly what is going on within our immediate environments, and because we are all over Guyana, we understand what's happening all over Guyana. It's very easy from when you travel and you see true progress, true development, true infrastructural development.
Right, I was going to say, give some examples as to what you're speaking about. When you say true progress, of course you're contrasting again.
All right.
23 years to 5 years. So
let's keep it to the military for now.
Okay.
right? So I would have returned from my first set of engineer training in 2013. Before then, my subunit, which is the field engineers, we were very much limited. We didn't have machinery. We were, when I took over, a company of men, it was 9 men, including myself, right? And we were given basically very minute tasks to do. And we were a specialist unit within the engineering battalion. Now fast track to 2016, when I came back from Brazil, right? And I came and I saw structures like Durban Park being built. When I heard of airstrips in the interior being rehabilitated or even rebuilt and rehabilitated, when I got the opportunity to actually go and construct one of the airstrips, when I came back and we assisted again with Durban Park, then we went to South Rupununi, in which we dug 8 artesian water wells, and we did 72 kilometers of roads. Now before this, the average Guyanese didn't know the Guyana Defense Force had an engineering arm. Now we're out there, we're building everything. And this is giving young men a chance to go and practice their skills. This is giving to have true development, true infrastructure. Right? Now I may be a bit biased towards infrastructure, right? But if you have soldiers in all of these areas building, and the progress keeps going on, imagine what the security in those areas are like now. Because now, the people them in the far off areas, we already built the access for them to get to wherever they have to go. We already gave them running water, 24/7, 365, right? And now we give them peace of mind that your army, your paramilitary, your police are in your areas to protect you, right? We took lights to those areas, solar panels to those areas. This is something that I have not heard about before under 23 years of governance. So it's very admirable. And we went out there and we fixed everything. And we're still out there, my guys are still out there doing work. I'm very proud of them.
You were careful to say that you're not retired. You are
Former.
You are former.
I'm very far off from retiring.
Establish again for us why you did not remain with the army, given all that was happening, and your possibility for promotion. Because the decision to leave must have been a decision that you didn't take lightly.
Well, it was something not easy to do. I was an officer in the Guyana Defense Force, a very prestige position that anyone in the country I'd advise you to go and become. Now, sometimes you have to put yourself aside for something in the army we call service. And I am not the one just to think about myself. I think wide. And just as I wanted to make my ranks better and to develop them better, I really wanted to get into national development on a different scale. On a scale whereby in the army I had a limit that I could have worked up to, but now I'm going into the public eyes, and now I'm going with a strong political party, a winning political party, right? And now I'll have the opportunity to do greater things in a different atmosphere, in a different setting. And this is why I would have chosen to leave, I wouldn't say early, but at this junction in life, when you have done a decade of service, I think it's about time that I hang up my boots.
How easy was the transition from the military into a party and to be accepted into that party?
For my party, it was rather easy. It was very welcoming by my comrades, right? They all had utmost respect for the experience that I brought to the table. Being a military officer, fully regimented, it's never easy coming back to civilian life. We speak, we think, we dress differently, and it's still getting used to the day-to-day ins and outs. But for me, personally, it was very welcoming.
How do you see yourself? They have different ministries, and from what I take it, you've been welcomed wholeheartedly you feel comfortable. But do you see a niche for yourself as you go forward?
I don't have, you see, this is the thing about officers in the Guyana Defense Force. We are multidimensional. We can work in any areas, but my main areas that I have, if you would say a niche for, is within the security sector, within infrastructure, because those are the main areas that I made a huge mark in the GDF with.
Your commander in chief is also ex-military.
Yes, sir.
How much do you see yourself exemplifying him? How much do you see yourself as saying, I would like to be like him?
Well, it's always a privilege to say that you would want to exemplify David Arthur Granger, right? He's the...
What are some of the qualities that jump out at you?
Oh, come on, man. We see it right on the road, on the banners, right the way you see a man who is decent, honest, untarnished integrity. There's nothing about David Granger that is wrong. And David Granger is the right dose of medicine that Guyana needed after 23 years. You understand? There's a quote that I always say during my speeches when I speak to the public. A great man is not measured by his wealth or what he has. A great man is measured by his integrity and how he can affect those around him positively. Now you look around at Guyana, and you see a cleaner Guyana. You see a happier Guyana. You see more people going out to areas in which they practically abandoned under a 23-year regime. And you tell me, has this man not affected Guyana positively? How can you not vote for him? Tell me that.
How do you see, because we're talking on the eve of the joint services voting, how do you see crime and security being affected in a positive way by this administration?
Crime and security being affected. Oh, watch your words there. Crime can't be affected positively. We want crime to go down, right?
Effective then. The effected.
So,
maybe not affected, but effected. Fair enough.
So under this government, if you went through the manifesto, right, we have some very big operations to launch in this country with regards to taking care of crimes. One of which I would have mentioned earlier would have been the Citizen Safe Citizen program, which is the installation of the surveillance equipment. That's been great so far. It's been clamping on a lot of crime that's happening within Georgetown. That will be, and I'm just repeating again, transferred to the other regions where they have towns first. I see a lot more fleet being introduced to all over, right? So now we have, I remember I was in Cariveton the other evening listening to the president telling me that we will get rid of piracy, and I believe that that can happen, right? Because we're going to equip the marine arm of both the